Hello, I'm Catherine, and I'm delighted to be here with the sculptor Vincent Gray, who's going to show us around his new exhibition here at Portsmouth Cathedral. So, Vincent, shall we start with this first piece here, Ascension?
So Ascension is the most recent piece in this collection. It is an eclectic piece, and I thought it was worth, after having spoken with Catherine, that I should have something with a really powerful religious theme. So Ascension is Christ returning to the Father.
And a very different piece.
Very different.
Next to this one.
So this is based on the mime series. I've been very inspired over the years by street entertainment and street performance. So this is the mime artist in what we see on the high street as an imaginary glass box that he is trapped in. But clearly, we see the box in this case.
Yeah.
A state of mime. So there are various states of mime, this being one of them, the glass box.
And we're coming on here to, this is called A Leap of Faith, this exhibition, and here is a leap.
So this is Ark of a Diver, and it is, in a very literal sense, a leap of faith, because it's a tribute to the divers of Acapulco, whereby they judge the incoming wave to give them adequate depth of water to be able to execute the dive successfully. So, as I say, in a literal sense, this is a leap of faith. And this is a mantra that I've lived my life by.
Now, here's someone with a Portsmouth connection.
Which I hope people recognise. So this is Lord Nelson, and this maquette actually stands with another figure called Sir George Murray. And Sir George Murray, little known, was Nelson's right-hand man. And George Murray was a Chichester resident. And I was approached by a group of enthusiasts some years ago to design a piece of sculpture of both Nelson and George Murray together to be erected in Chichester. I've now produced the work, and it is scheduled to be unveiled early next year. When you're next in Chichester in the spring, this should be up. It has been put back on various occasions for differing reasons. Yeah. But as things stand, it is scheduled for the beginning of April for the unveiling.
Yeah. Now, we're coming up to the 13th of December, St. Lucy's Day, at the weekend, and here she is with her Star Boy. Can you tell us a bit about it?
Well, I have a very strong connection with Sweden. My wife is Swedish, and we lived there together for a number of years when our children were young, and they both took part in the Lucia celebrations, in that a girl is selected from the community to process with candles in her hair, followed by 9 so-called star boys walking afterwards in their white robes. And the sash is red to link with her martyrdom. So this is a beautiful celebration in Sweden and all the Nordic countries on the 13th of December. And I'm on a little bit of a mission to introduce as much of Scandinavia to this country as I can, because it had such a powerful influence on me whilst I was there.
This is called Glad Day.
Glad Day after William Blake.
Yeah.
Now, this is quite an interesting story, in that I've been approached by the so-called Blakefest in Bognor Regis to produce a monumental piece of work for the seafront. 16 feet piece of work. And I produced the maquette a couple of years ago, and the maquette is available for sale, forms an edition of, 9. So this is, it's based on William Blake in that he celebrated the joys of free thinking, youthfulness, and the glorification of God. And you can see the link with the arms outstretched with Christ on the crucifix.
Now, I know on the life-size version of this one, of John Keats, you can actually sit next to him, but we can have a smaller version.
So the life-size version of John Keats is in Chichester. It was unveiled in 2017 by Dame Patricia Routledge on a glorious summer's day, very, very well attended. And if you visit Chichester and stand with the sculpture, if you look over his left-hand shoulder, you will see the house he lived in with the blue plaque on, where he started to pen the very famous poem Eve of St Agnes, which is celebrated on the 21st of January. Yeah. And in my efforts to get this work off the ground, I set up the poetry evening on the 21st, the Eve of St Agnes, which is now well and truly established. Although I no longer run it, I handed it over to the South Downs Poetry Festival. So John Keats was in Chichester for a brief period, and he uses various city landmarks to inform the poem, Eve of St Agnes.
Yeah, another piece of overtly religious sculpture.
So this is Christ not on the cross, but on the T-shaped cross. And I have to remind myself that it's taken from the Greek letter tau, the Crus Comitia. So quite an unusual piece. Yeah. And it's a relief as well. So some people think relief sculpture is an easier option to sculpture in the round. In fact, it's not. It's a far more disciplined approach in that all the information provided on the work is condensed down to less than millimetres. And obviously it's got to be accurate in that condensing of the information.
And something completely different again?
And something completely different again, Orchard. It's really a celebratory piece of joy, the fruits of nature and the joy of spring and summer, and it offers hope, and I think quite a poignant piece for just this moment with the coronavirus and what have you. There is hope, and life continues.
And now I've heard people already coming into the cathedral and saying how much they love this one.
So you'll see on the left you have the smaller version of Starboy. On the right you have Grandpa's chair. So the cheeky little boy has taken the opportunity when Grandpa has gone out to the kitchen to put the kettle on and make a pot of tea, and he's jumped in this all-consuming, warm and cosy chair, and the cat is all part of the scene.
Yes, I love the cat.
And Grandpa, we assume, comes back and realises that chair is now taken.
And so this one is a companion piece.
It is a companion to a state of mind. So rather than the sort of low box, this is the standing figure.
An incredible movement in this one.
So this is based on the painting by Bruegel, Land of Cocaine, which shows three professions splayed out on this hilltop, this knolly hilltop. Now I've given it a little bit of a twist. It sits a little bit with Last of the Summer Wine, in that you've got three gentlemen here, slightly past their prime, have gone off with all good intentions for a chat, but clearly fallen asleep in the process. Again, High Five is based on the Mime series, just looking at stretching the body, getting some geometry in the body, but essentially based on the mime artist.
And right in the middle here.
Right in the middle, font. So font, again, I wanted the religious connection. This piece has seen another life in that it was more two-dimensional in its origins, but it's now three-dimensional. And it can be exhibited either vertically or horizontally. And this is the first time I've shown it horizontally, and it invites you in, and it invites you to rotate around it.
Vincent, there's one more piece for us to see, and that's outside. Vincent, this piece is called Union. Can you tell us about this?
Well, Union started off in life as the four heads, believed it or not, self-portraits. But I wanted a strong industrial feeling and merged the softer side of human with the harder side of industry. So you'll see that it's on this very sturdy, rusty-looking, gnarled plinth. And it's been likened to a beacon or a lighthouse or a ship's capstan, which sits with the title Union, with links to industry, but to show something weathered but permanent, something you can rely on. It's here, it's solid, and it gives us hope.
Thank you for watching. Do come to Portsmouth Cathedral and see Vincent Gray's exhibition for yourself. It's here until the 15th of January and admission is free. Do check for further details on our website.